All right, everybody. Looks like we are live. I would like to welcome you to another episode of Alive with Chris Austin, Illuminating Humanity. This is where I like to come together every Monday night at 7 p.m. for about 45 minutes and really highlight some amazing people that I think are out there making a difference in the world. So before I introduce my very special guest to you this evening, I'm going to wait a couple minutes so people start to join live because it's just 7 o'clock right now, because this is an interactive show this evening. And as we're waiting for those people, I'm going to take a minute to share this to a couple pages because I know that there are some people that would like to see this on different pages. So I'm going to do that now. So as we have people joining us tonight, let's see. Got a couple more. All right. Waiting for some people to join. Oh, I was trying to post it on my guest page and it won't let me. I'll tell you what, he will be able to share it from my page. A special guest, while you're on waiting to be announced, you can go to my Facebook page and share it right from there onto your page. Okay, so it looks like we have some people joining us now. So again, my name is Chris Austin, and this is my show, Alive with Chris Austin, Illuminating Humanity, where I like to come together every Monday night to celebrate some awesome people that are making a difference in the world and that are up to some amazing things. And so anytime throughout this show tonight, feel free to put any questions or comments up in the live, and I will make sure that it gets to our special guest this evening. And of course, we always love those hearts and likes. And feel free to share it to your pages because that's the very best way that you can support me and what I'm up to. And I'm always very grateful and appreciative for that. So with no further ado, I would love to introduce to you this week's guest, Alex Wang. Alex Wang, come on camera. There he is. Hi, Alex.
Hey, hey everybody.
All right.
How's
So
it
Alex,
going? Thank you for having me.
yeah, I am so stoked that you were here tonight. And man, like you're one of my favorite people because you actually take such committed action and making a difference in people's lives from a place that is refreshing to me because you really care about them. So I am honored to have you on my show tonight. I know that you've taken time to be here because you just recently moved to Peru. So you're joining us from Peru. It looks like you're a little frozen right now. I don't know if your audio is working though. Is your audio working?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Testing.
Yeah. Okay. You're moving now a little bit. We are
Okay.
a little frozen there for a little bit. So I am thrilled to have you on our show tonight. So Alex is a real estate pro when it comes to investing and all that good stuff. He has the Lead Pack Real Estate Group, right? That is your company. You're also have your Titan Coaching Academy because you're also a personal and professional life coach. And you are also ACIM, which is a Course in Miracles student and teacher. So we're going to get into that a little bit tonight. And you also are a high performance coach. Did I hit them
Mhm.
all?
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, awesome. So, like, as you can see, Alex is up to a lot of stuff. So, I'm going to jump right in so that you get to know him because he has a wealth of knowledge. And I want to make sure that you all have an opportunity to ask him questions. Okay. So, there's a lot of you jumping on right now. So again, any questions or comments, feel free. So, Alex, let's talk about it. So, real estate, right? What got you into real estate and why?
Yeah, so real estate, I mean, this is when I was in college, I tell this story a lot where I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. So many real estate investors out there, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki really is the place that shifted people's paradigms around where do we spend our money, how to invest our money, and what really is considered an asset. So that's been really the core of the philosophy that I've, really lived by, which is something that puts money in my pocket every month, that's considered an asset. So if you look at like real estate, that to me is really an asset if you go and purchase an investment property, because every month there's a possibility that you could put money in your pocket. Now, stocks, there are stocks that pay like dividends, so you can consider those also assets, right? You can even consider your car an asset too. If you rent your car out, maybe on Turo, something like that, as long as it's putting money in your pocket every month. Now, a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket every month. So not all real estate is assets, because the home that you live in, even though banks consider an asset, Rich Dad and myself, I would consider that as a liability, because every month money comes out of my pocket. So, in real estate, I think for me personally, this is somewhere around right after college. I got really, really into it, and I was very determined to purchase my first property because I wanted to get started early, and what I personally believe is that when we work hard for our money, when we exchange our time for the earned money, so earned income, that's like the most important money that you gotta view that as something really important, because you're trading the most important commodity, the most valuable commodity that you have, which is time, for that money. So most people out there in our society, we're trained to really pay our expenses, pay everything off, and whatever we have left over, we'll invest. We'll invest to buy these assets or real estate. And for me, it's the people that I coach, people in real estate. We believe that we invest the money first, and whatever is left over, that really then goes to our expenses. And I know that there's people out there listening right now, like thinking, no, there's no way. You don't know my expenses, you don't know my responsibilities, all of that. But we just got to figure it out and budget it, because it's really a mindset type of conversation. It's not really in the doingness, so.
Well, that was actually going to be my first question to you, because I know there's probably going to be a lot of people that watch this that are going to say, because a lot of times with real estate, and it comes to say, make it a rental property, right? If people wants to make it a rental property, a lot of times I hear people say, being a landlord is such a headache, or I don't have the finances or the money to have all the repairs, or if the tenants don't pay rent, like, what would you say to people that are having that conversation, that maybe are interested in doing that, but they allow like those fears to stop them?
Yeah, all of those things are really just an excuse not to do it, because if you wanted to be in real estate and you didn't want to do anything completely hands off, there are plenty of syndications. There's people that partner up that do all the work, and maybe you take a little bit less of a return, but you do nothing and you get returns. Those are passive incomes. I mean, I know I know everybody's heard of Grant Cardone, so I'll use him as an example. If you put money into his projects, he gives you 6% every year. That's passive income right there. You don't have to lift a finger, you don't do anything. And then when he turns the property over, his goal is to give you 2 or 3 times back. So, there's a lot of ways to do it. It's really about, like, do I really want to do that? How important is passive income to me? And you could be the operator, you could be the one that does all the work, or you could be somebody that just doesn't have the time for all that, doesn't want to spend the energy, doesn't want to learn it. Then you invest the money and just allow it to become real passive income for you.
And what would you say to people that are like, yeah, but you need a ton of money in order to even get started? You got to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. You got to have a really good credit line. Like, what do you say to people with that conversation?
Yeah, I hear that the most. Actually, people are like, when I have enough money, I will do it. And a lot of these people that I've spoken to years and years ago, they're still sitting on the sideline right now, not waiting till when they have enough money. Because when is enough money? How much money does it take? If you don't even look into that, then you wouldn't really even know. The last 5 properties that I purchased, I didn't put a single dollar down. So do you really need money to be in real estate? Yes, but it doesn't have to be yours. I don't think some of the most, if you leverage your knowledge, if you get in the game, if you study it, then you can leverage your knowledge for equity. So there's a lot of ways. It just comes down to like, are you committed to do it? This is part of what I actually coach people. Like, are you committed? Because if you're committed, you'll become creative, and
Yeah.
When I've spoken to people that have money conversations, I'm like, all right, so if I tell you, you got to raise $10,000 right now, and then tomorrow I'll give you $200,000 back, are you going to come up with that $10,000? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's like, do I want to do it or do I not want to do it?
Right.
And when I say that, of course, they're, yeah, I'll figure out how to do it. Well, how? Well, I'll ask this person. I'll ask that. Okay, now all of a sudden everyone could be creative, but when we're buying a house, what's really the difference? So it comes down to, it's a psychological conversation. It's a mindset conversation.
Sure.
And
Now, how many properties do you own currently?
so I just sold one. I have two that is my personal. That I'm doing Airbnb with right now, and then we have three that is with partners, and then I'm actually in the process of building 20 in North Carolina.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, which brings us to a question that Lenka Prone has on here, and she's saying, I'm curious what you think about running an Airbnb in this passive income equation.
Okay, so first of all, Airbnb is not very passive at all. It's like being a landlord times 20. There's a lot more work and a lot more operation that goes into becoming an Airbnb host. However, the returns are 3 or 4 times, that of a long-term rental. And when you have that money come in, like, what do you do with that money? That's what it comes down to. Again, it's like, I traded my time for the money. How do I make it so that this money will earn money by itself? And I think that's one of the most important things that needs to be taught. Like, our educational system needs to teach that from a young age. Like, if you make $10, you don't spend $10.
Right.
Because that's the trap.
Yeah, imagine that in our
$10,
public
don't
school
spend it.
system, right? Investment and money and all that. Like, what a great curriculum.
Yeah, at least like the concept of it, like maybe if you worked the first 20 years and took and just deferred all the pleasures and luxuries of buying a new car, buying your own home, whatever, all these things, and you just kept reinvesting, people can easily retire by the time they're 40, by the time they're 35. If they were committed to that. But there's no education around that, and that's one of my driving my motivations, and I'm really inspired to do that all the time, because this is a story that I share on my Facebook lives whenever I do real estate things. Is that this was December 2019. I was in Publix in Lake Worth, and this lady, I've been to the Publix multiple times, and she's probably maybe like in her 80s, I would say. And she's a cashier. She's sitting on a chair. No other cashier sitting on a chair. She's got a wrist guard on, and she's like complaining about her back hurts, her wrist hurts, and her hands hurt. And at age, I mean, when you're in your 80s, it really hurts me to see that, that people weren't like, our society kind of failed people to plan for retirement. It was promised one thing and something else happens, and I think especially the way money is being spent these days, and the old traditional ways of trying to invest for like this long term and retire at 65, hoping that you can retire on your 401k or whatever, pension. It's not meant to last for 20, 30 years. So it's challenging. And for me, it really hurt me to see that. And if I can even make a difference in one person's life to not have that happen to them, then that's really all, I can ask for.
Yeah, and imagine if everyone walked around, right, with that compassion that you see in our older generations. And, it also sounds like it leaves a legacy for your family and generations to come, because then this carries on like throughout your family too, right?
Yeah, I mean, think about the way that we're taught to do things. We get good grades, go to college, get a car, get a house, start a family, put some money away in 401k. The way we're taught, and then the generation that came before us, most of them, a lot of them failed at retiring the way that they're supposed to retire, but they don't know any better. So they're going to teach the same thing to the next generation. This is why the gap between the rich and the poor is just keeps growing, because the rich is like, hey, this is how it works. Here, I teach my kids how to do it. And, with YouTube and all of these things out there, there's so much information and so much like education, like everybody can do this, everybody can do it. All the information is out there, but it's like, are you going to go after it? How important is that to you? And we live in a society where like instant gratification, we got to have our joy right now. We got to be satisfied right now. Right. And that really hurts us for the long run. And I totally believe that part of our ways of, really fulfilling our purpose and and who we are is to teach and give back. The sooner we can do it, the better. The sooner you can learn to do it, learn to teach, because as you teach, A, you learn, and two, we're not going to the grave with our money or our knowledge. Right. So like learn as much as you can, give it back. And if it's your kids, and give it to your kids. If it's your grandkids, give it to your if it's friends, family, people on this Facebook Live, right. Wherever it is. And this is why I'm so glad to be here on this with you, because I know that this is what you're about too. It's about giving back to people. And
because
so
what
important.
I want people to understand that, like, I can speak because I know Alex. I've known Alex for a few years now, and he cares about people. As you hear him talking about that 80-year-old, sitting on the chair at a register, he cares about people. Now, making money is awesome, and he's all for that too, and it's great. But it's really about, like the spirit behind the money that comes in from real estate, because like it's not about the money. Right. But money is great. Like money is great. But for you, like what I'm getting from you is that you feel that a lot of people miss the boat, right? Like on investments and on abundance and prosperity and wealth, and like to have a good relationship with wealth, prosperity, abundance, real estate. And it sounds like you want to support people. And yes, you can. Yes, you can, with your commitment, and anyone can do it. Like that's what I'm hearing you say through all this.
Yeah. No, totally. Like it's so important that to really understand too, that it's not like about the piece of paper, the money itself, and one of my favorite quotes too is, I just heard it recently and it's been just on my mind, is that money's not that important, but it's up there with oxygen. And it cracks me up, because it's not about the money. It's not about, the paper itself and being like a slave to money. But money gives us so much more opportunity to be free, to pursue the things that we want, to give back to other people. Like what we can do with money matters. And money itself, it's really a reflection of an exchange in value. That's it. And the more that you value money, the more you'll value your time. You
100%.
value your own self based on that too, and it's important that, anybody that's watching this, don't like confuse or get me wrong about what I'm saying. It's not that like really money makes you who you are, or if you don't have money, you're shitty or whatever, but it's the opportunity that money gives you.
100%. And Marlu, hey Marlu, she's saying, we didn't know any better, Alex. We need you. She's saying we need you to teach us. And Ev is on here saying, what do you think about stock investing or more aggressive investing such as cryptocurrency, which is a big conversation right now?
I like it. I actually, I purposely actually created some controversy about, cryptocurrency and stocks on my Facebook Live recently. Just to get the people out there to hear what they think about it too, because a lot of people have different opinions about it. So I'll share mine, and it's not like the right way or the wrong way, but it's according to the same philosophy that I live by, which is, what is an investment? What is an asset? Does it put money in my pocket every month? If I bought Tesla stock you know, and Tesla's a great stock. But if I bought Tesla stock next month, is there more money in my pocket? You know, if I didn't sell it, is there going to be more money in my pocket? No, it's kind of just sitting there. I hope that it grows. You know, maybe it won't grow. Maybe it'll take a year to grow. Whatever it is, all of that is just such speculation. And there are good stocks to buy that kind of will just, it'll grow over time, and it's solid because they're solid companies. But right now, I mean, if you're looking at like cryptocurrency, what people are doing, and some of these like meme stocks, this like famous, all the popular like AMC and GameStop, all this craziness that's going on in the market, that's not invest. That's straight gambling, okay? And most people will not disagree with this statement that the stock market's the biggest casino there is. You know, and think about this for a second. If we talk about investing in stocks, let's say I buy Tesla at $100, okay? And I'm just hypothetical here. It's not $100, it's at like $900 right now, but let's say I buy it for $100 and it goes up to $200 by the end of the year, and I sell it and I make $100. Not only do I have to pay like 30 to 40% taxes, and then the government's going to take 40% of it. So any stock that you buy, you're risking your money. And then if you win, they take some of your money, 40% of it, up to 40%. And if you lose, sorry, that's on you. You gambled with it. You know, so I actually am in some of these like meme stocks and cryptocurrencies, but not because it's an investment, but because it's a gamble. Like, I won't put my life savings on it. It's not going to hurt me if I lose the money. But the things that I invest in, they're like, if I lose it all. But if I win, maybe I'll win 10, 20, 30, 40 times. That sounds like a pretty decent gamble. Am I going to gamble my next month mortgage on it? No. But if you have extra money, and not your hard-earned money, so you remember like your earned income, if you go and gamble with that, to me, that's just kind of being really irresponsible and uneducated about real estate, or about investments. But if it's money that's coming in every month and I'm not even working for it, then yeah, why not? Why don't we throw $1,000 on AMC and see what happens? Or why don't we throw $1,000 on Bitcoin and see what happens? You know, because yeah, if it goes to the moon, like what everyone says, go into the moon, then yeah, I'll turn that 1,000 into 50,000, and the government can take 30, 40% of it, and that's fine. But if it's my next month rent or mortgage,
Not a good idea.
I don't know about all that.
So
I hope
what
that
would you
provides
say?
some clarity.
What would you say about businesses doing investment, right? So a lot of times today, people are like, even in businesses, are investing their money into like the cryptocurrency, stuff like that, instead of just having it sit in a bank account. What do you have to say to like businesses that are taking that risk and doing that?
Yeah, again, it's no different than being a individual investing. If you're a business, you're not going to invest your next month rent or your, you know, anything that's really important into that. Like, no company out there is investing all of their liquid into Bitcoins. If it was such a sure bet, then yeah, they would, but it wouldn't. They're just hoping that it's going to at least earn them some money. Like, it's deflationary. So hopefully that as money loses value, that, you know, like things like gold and crypto and Bitcoin, like they'll go up in value. Hopefully that happens. I mean, it's still all really speculation, because it's kind of a place to hold the money. And
So what would you
I
say?
call money sitting in the bank melting ice cubes. So
Right. So what would you say? So let me ask it two different ways. What would you say would be the best investment for an individual and the best investment for a business to get into?
well, for a business, reinvesting back into a business. For an individual, investing in yourself, in your
Okay.
growth. Like,
Okay. Could you give an example of like what you mean by that for each domain?
okay, so for a business, maybe you invest into some kind of logistics that's going to help things streamline faster. Maybe you reinvest into something that's going to help you, you know, scale certain things like products. If it's in a restaurant, maybe you reinvest into an equipment that's going to help you earn more money. You know, so like reinvesting back into the business. You got a business, so reinvest into it. You know what? Why do you have a business and you go reinvest into something else? You know, if you got your business, believe in your business. And then for individuals, learn, take courses, read books, buy courses. Like every year, I probably spend a good $20,000, maybe a little more, $30,000 on personal growth. It's just like that return. There's no greater return than that. I mean, I don't care if my money returns 50 times in Bitcoin, but the knowledge and the things that I learn and applying these things, there's no number that you can add to that. You know, some of the things that we learn in the trainings too, like in AMP. I know you're very involved in AMP, but these transformational trainings, I mean, can you put a price tag on learning certain things in there about yourself, about how you do it? You really can't.
No, and a lot of it comes through experience, right? So sometimes you know, in my business, you know, the trainings that we do, we talk about that you've got to be willing to fail in order to succeed. That's one of our biggest things that we teach people, is that you're going to go for things in life, and guess what? Sometimes you're going to fail. Like you might invest, and guess what? You might not make a penny, you might lose money, but what you learn through that experiential, and you'll learn so much more about yourself as a human being. You know, the wins and the losses is where like we learn.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I'm in a lot of big real estate coaching groups, and they put me as like mentors on there. And I've mentored a lot of people, just like on Facebook. It's not like you know, I'm not charging them for any mentoring, but the thing I tell everybody is like, listen, do your first deal. Don't be held up on like any specific fail, whatever fail. You're gonna learn so much more doing the first deal than reading any book. You know, and you said you mentioned success and failure. Like failure is not the opposite of success. You know, failure, you're learning, but the opposite of success is to be like very mediocre and average. That's the
like
opposite.
the example I always give is I say this all the time, even in our trainings. I'm like, think of a toddler, right? Like when they're learning to walk and stuff like that, like they fall down, what do? We celebrate. We go, yay, you fell down, right? And like we celebrate that because there's an innocence and like a refresher. And then all of a sudden we get older and we fall down and we're like, you jerk, you mess up, like you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, we used to actually celebrate, yay, you fell down, pick yourself up. And think about how kids just pick themselves up and they go for it like right off the bat. And we lose that, you know, as we get older and as we go for things and we don't have things happen. And I can see where that could come in with real estate and investment, and like people can get salty, right? Like if they invested one day and they lost all their money or something like that, like they get a bad taste and then like they're just done with it, you know?
Yeah, this is why the trainings and like A Course in Miracles is so important to me in my life, because you got to unlearn a lot of these things. You got to unlearn a lot of things that were kind of put on us. Like if we got bad, like first, like you said, you fall when you're learning to walk, and you know we get, you know, there's celebration, but then we go to school and we get an F, and it's like you're not, no swearing, but you're just
You can swear.
you're dumb, I guess, whatever. You know, it's just whatever negative thing comes with it. So, and we got to unlearn that. The training helps us unlearn that. A Course in Miracles really helps us unlearn that, and any other things that we've taken on. I mean, we bring things from when we're younger to when we're older, like it still applies when it really doesn't. And this is why I love the trainings and the Course in Miracles so much, because it grounds me and reminds me that this situation is not that. You know,
let's shift gears a little bit and talk about that, right? So let's talk about A Course in Miracles, also known as ACIM, which is short for A Course in Miracles. So I learned recently that you're facilitating a group and you got a big old group of people on it. So tell me, so first of all, there's some people that are probably going to watch this, of what is A Course in Miracles?
Yeah, A Course in Miracles is this book. I have it right here. It's right here, and it's three parts. The first part is the text, and then the second part is this workbook. It's got 365 lessons, a lesson a day, and then there's a manual for teachers that really goes and goes in depth of some of the questions that students of reading or studying this course may have, just to clarify them. But really, the goal of the course is, you know, it says in the course somewhere, it says in the third section, manual for teachers, where the goal of the course is peace and happiness, and that's it. There's nothing else. The goal of it is that, and everything else that we experience, every time we lose our peace, every time we're disturbed by something, every time we judge, every time we get angry, these are all things that are in the way of your peace and your happiness. So it's really about shifting a perspective of, coming from a place of, the course calls it, your guilt and your fear, to a place of, love, acceptance, gratitude. And it's all about, it's really a whole course of practical ways and of shifting your perspective. How do you
Yeah, and
shift?
there's different chapters, right? And through the chapters, there's different lessons that go along with the readings and all of that. I studied it for a year straight, about 3 years ago. Every day, I completed it in excellence. Didn't miss a lesson. I was very proud of that.
I've never done that.
And studied it, and it was amazing, and it really opened up my consciousness to a next level. And I noticed that I really started being able to step into compassion a lot easier in my life when I started to read it and studied it. And I still have the book. It's got all these tabs, and it's a little, man, it's worn. It's in the other room, but I love it. And so, something that I want people to know about the A Course in Miracles is that a lot of times people think that it's faith-based. So do you want to talk about that a little bit, as far as like, like anyone can study the course?
Yeah, it was actually really challenging for me when I first started reading the course, because it uses Christian-based languaging, but it actually is that first part of it, because people that are Christian will be tagged by reading some of the things in here. People that aren't, are against this like institutional religious things, and they'll read it and they'll be like, oh man, God, Holy Spirit, these things, and they get tagged by it too and triggered by it. But that's the first part, is to unlearn or let go of the judgments you've previously had on it. When you can do that in one area, just in that area, you can do it in so many others. And in real estate and investment and everything I do in my life, this book, A Course, has really, really grounded me in the way to view things.
And how long have
I'm
you been
so grateful for
studying the course?
So I first picked it up maybe like 4 years ago. It was very challenging. I put it right back down. Then one of my really good friends, my mentor, Chris DeSanti, really pressed me into it. He's done so many things for me as a role model that, he studied it so much. I would consider him like my teacher in the course. And 2 years ago, I decided that, in the course, it actually says that in order for you, when you learn, the best way to learn is to teach, and not that they make a really great distinction of teacher student, that there's no separation in that. That's another one of the principles of the course, is that it's not about the separation. It's not about the duality thinking. Everything is one. How do we bring everything back to one? And so teacher student, there's no separation. Now I'm like, okay, well, let me just start a study group, and this was almost exactly 2 years ago. I started a little like a month, 2 years and a month that I started this group. And, we've been going strong for two years plus now. And we do it twice a week, every Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m., every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Wednesdays, we do deeper dives. We study the chapters, like every single section of the chapter. So every month we study 2 chapters. And then on Sundays, it's like more introductory. We go through people's challenges and stuff that come up, and, share different perspectives from the course. And a lot of new people jump on Sundays, people that are intrigued, or some people in our group want to bring somebody else on. Like Sundays is a great time to do it.
So is it a revolving course, meaning people can join at any time?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you want to join, you can hop in. And that's we have a WhatsApp group for it. And
So anyone that's watching right now that goes, oh, I'd love to check that out, like where can they hit you up for that?
so they can, they can find me on Facebook and just send me a Facebook message, and I'll send them the group invite. And
Okay. So
that's it.
Alex Wang on Facebook, send him
Yeah.
a message and he'll get you the link that you can join that group because that sounds awesome. And is there a fee for that group or anything or donation
No,
based or?
it's totally free. This is just, for me, it doesn't, it's not, I don't need to charge for it because I feel like I'm learning more in those times than really teaching. I learned so much in those groups from people's shares. It gives me new perspective, and just one way of being able to give back. It's
Mhm.
just it's great when people share how much of an impact I've made in their lives. It's not about the money. So
That's awesome. Yeah, Ev's on here going, yeah, it's a great group, great group. So he must be in your group. So he's saying it's amazing and yeah. So Course in Miracles, right? So again, any faith, anyone can step into this because I know myself at first I was like, I grew up Catholic. I always call myself a recovering Catholic. It's a little joke amongst my family, and there were just some terminologies. I was like, but then you're right. The very first thing for me was like, I need to not bring what I think I know from the religion which I grew up with and come in there. And it was such a refreshing lesson for me to go, wait, this isn't that. This
yeah.
isn't that. And to come in with a new perspective. And you're right. That was one of my very first lessons, in it and to be open, to
Hmm.
be open and to see like how creation can be seen in so many different ways and it really is amazing. So if it sounds like something you're intrigued, like hit Alex up because I do know a couple of people that are in it and they say that they just absolutely like adore the group and it's awesome. Lenka is saying ACIM WhatsApp group. Oh, she posted the link for you, Alex. So Lenka
Oh,
posted the
thank you.
link
Thank you.
right there. So that link that Lenka posted is the way that you can get involved in A Course in Miracles. Jessica Garcia is saying this group has kept me out of the drift, meaning like, it keeps people out of like the yuckiness, the judgment, the criticisms, like falling back into that stuff, like during the whole pandemic. Lenka is saying, out of the drift and into the newfound piece, Jess, right? So when you hear the word drift, like in the trainings that Alex is talking about, that he's a graduate of, and all of that in a center, that I own, we say the drift is like everyday life. Everyday life when you're not feeling so conscious. That's
Yeah.
what we say the drift is. So if you're wondering what that language is, that's what they mean by that. So Course in Miracles, the real estate, you tie them, like you can pretty much say that the Course in Miracle has totally supported you investing in real estate, like without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so many different areas in my relationship. I have a really, really amazing relationship, really because of the course. Because of studying it and not just studying it, but like applying the things that I learned. That's probably something that the most important thing is like, even if you got all the knowledge and you don't apply it, it doesn't do anything. It's like if I learned how to buy my first property and learn everything about it, and I don't go and buy my first property and I use one of the excuses of not enough money or credit or I don't want to be a landlord, whatever the thing is, right? Then all that is for what?
Yeah, and I think
So
it's so important because today there's so many people like with YouTube, right? With like YouTube and this and that, and like all of a sudden they're experts. If they watch some YouTube videos, right? Watch a YouTube video, take a little Udemy class, something like that, they consider themselves like an expert or certified in something. And I think it's so important that you've explained to people that you invest back into it, $20,000-$30,000 a year, right? And then you actually take action with all of these teachings that you teach, you embody them, right? And
yep.
you're not just preaching them, you're not just saying it, like you're a man of integrity and you actually take the action on the things that you're coaching people on, like in business and real estate and A Course in Miracles, and you're actually embodying them, right? And taking action on it. And you actually have the life that you coach people on. And that's so important because everybody today is an expert. You know what I'm saying? Through YouTube.
Yeah. And like I don't knock them for that. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, calls those fake teachers, people that don't do what they teach, a lot of professors he calls them that. But It's fine. I think if people are teaching it too, and if they got followers, great. That's good for them. It'll probably end up forcing them to level themselves up anyways, you know, and they'll probably, the more that they teach and the more that people that come and they're like, oh crap, I actually got to take some action. So, you know, whatever they got to do to take action, you know, but when you're looking for a teacher, you want to see somebody that's walking the walk. You know, it's easy to talk the walk, but you got to walk the walk, you know.
Yeah, and so many times, like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm driving in my car, and yes, I still listen to the radio. People are like, you listen to the radio? Yes, I do. And I'm listening to the radio, and they're like, come on down to the convention or hop on, get rich overnight, real estate. And then, like, then I hear you sitting here going, no, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to commit to it. Like, even when you don't feel like it, like, you got to put the studying into it, like the time into it. Like, because so many times I think people are like, okay, I'm going to buy this house and I'm going to be a millionaire. You're saying that's not how it works.
No, it's not. I mean, there's any one of these get quick rich overnight things. That's the problem with our society. It's like, I need instant gratification, instant transformation. These things don't work like that. Your money, your results are directly related to the work that you put in, the discipline that you have around all of that. How much are you willing to apply the things, the courage that it takes, you know, all of that. It takes time, and it takes time to grow. And, you know, when I coach my clients, I bring on a quote that helps me coach them and get into perspective, is that Chinese bamboo takes 5 years to grow underground. And once they pop out, they grow 90 feet in 5 weeks. So like right now, if you're grinding, when you're underground, wherever you're at right now, if you don't got that life, then you're grinding.
And let me tell you, man, those things are sturdy and they live forever, those bamboo.
Yeah. Because once you get above ground, once you're there, once you got your first property, once you got your first 2 properties, it just like the opportunities that come, the amount of things you can do, the freedom that comes with it, the opportunities that comes with it, the people that you'll meet, the people that you start surrounding yourself with, everything just starts to shift, and the synchronicity starts to happen. And that's like, you got to grind to get there. You know, the whole like, I'm going to get rich quick thing, it doesn't work. That's why so many people, I think there was a funny survey about how Americans are going to get rich is A, win the lottery, or 2, sue somebody. I mean, that's how people want to retire and become rich. It's not the American dream. But
well, you hail from New Jersey, right? And like I learned recently, they call it Sue Jersey. Because everybody sues around there. I hear, and I was like, oh, really? Like one time I was there and I got like literally a little bender, and like somebody tried to sue me and make up all this story about it. And I was just like, what people will do for money, you know, it's crazy. And that's why I love what you do as a business coach, as a real estate coach, because for me, like you take a spirituality construct and you marry it with business, and you come from a place of love and compassion. And to me, that's just so, that's why you're on my show, because that is so needed in humanity and for people, because so many times, and men tend to have a more of a negative connotation of that, of like just wanting to make money, get the money in there, but you actually care about making a difference for people in their lives with compassion, with love, and you're gonna be with them through the highs and the lows, you know, like, and you're gonna support them as long as they're doing the work with their commitment, right? Because that's what's important.
Yeah, if they're not committed, then I can't really coach you. If you're not committed, I'm like, here's some books to read. Learn to be your word, have integrity with yourself, and you'll see how much your life changes if you can commit to that. But I wouldn't coach anybody that's not committed to at least getting themselves out of, above water or anything like that. So
and like you said, like A Course in Miracles really supported him. Marlu was saying, you know, it's a wonderful education and support for awakening to a positive, compassionate, peaceful, happy lifestyle. We do get to apply the knowledge to our lives, right? So it seems like you got a lot of your people from your group on here that have just such amazing things to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, that group, I'm so grateful for that group. Everybody's so supportive of each other. I mean, just some of the breakthroughs that they've created in that group, you know, just in the way they're willing to share and support each other. I mean, it's like it's a really awesome family, really. And we're all really one family, the whole world. So, and
Totally.
one last thing is that, like, I really believe everything we do, if we are not connected to ourselves or have a higher faith in like our creator or God, whatever anybody wants to call the universe, some larger thing than ourselves, if we're not connected to that, everything that we do really in life is going to be disconnected. It's going to be confusing. We don't have a direction. We don't have a purpose. It's not just about making money. You know, there's a, like you said, there's spirit behind all of it. It's so important. And that's why this drives me. You know, this guides me and grounds me.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, because that's what it's all about. And you know that that's what I'm a firm teacher of too, you know, is letting go of the ego, really letting go of the ego and really finding your life purpose. And like Alex is saying, is that once you get clear on your purpose, you know, and your passion in life, and then you marry the attitudes and the beingness of who you want to be as a human being and the legacy you want to leave in your name, but actually starting to live in an integrity with all of it, like who you are, the things that you have, the relationships that you have. That's where being wealthy comes in. And there's a fine distinction of being rich and wealthy, you know, and wealthy is so much more than the amount of money you have in your bank. It's about the quality of life that you are able to experience in the relationships that you have with people. And it sounds like, Alex, that when people hire you as a coach or become part of your groups, they start to really get that, and they start to embody that, and they wake up that who like their being actually makes a difference with how their investments are happening in their lives, and the more conscious they become.
Yeah, and just, you know, to go into the course a little more and how I apply something specific is our results, our actions, things that show up for us, material, like material things that show up, the physical world that shows up around us, that is the effect of your mind, which is the cause. You know, this is the one thing that's so important about the course, and everybody needs work on this, including myself. We're like, if something just happens this way, then I'll be happy. You know, we have it in the trainings too, but if only this worked out this way, then I'll be happy. If I only had this money, then I'll be happy. If I only had the money, then I'll invest. See, all of that is just upside down thinking, because it comes from your mind is the cause, and then everything else is the effect of your mind. But we tend to always want to give our power over to something outside of us, as if that thing is dictating my state of being or my emotions right now. You know, and that's the thing. When I can take that to my relationship, to my investments, to everything, I become responsible in the choices that I make in my mind. Because my
It's so
mind is the
powerful.
cause, everything else is the effect. So if we can always remember that. If anybody watching this right now, like, just remember that your mind is the cause of the rest of this world, not the other way around. And if we remember that, then we feel so much more empowered. There's so much more trust and faith that gets developed, and that's how you get to when you empower yourself. That's where peace and happiness starts to show up.
And these are the
And you
little
realize,
nuggets, people, the
and you
wisdoms of
realize that
Alex
it's
Wang that you can learn, man. These little golden nuggets that you can take with you just by being, I mean, this Course in Miracles group is free. What's better than that? I mean, I didn't know that. Like that's amazing. I have to wrap it up, but there is another
yes.
question. There's another question on here from Francine Ray. She's on here and she has a question for you, saying, "Hey, Alex, so great to see you here. I love how you are talking about walking your talk. What would you say is your favorite practice each day that has you be in that space?"
Wake up every day at 4:30 in the morning. If you want to change your life, you just decide some ridiculous time to wake up in the morning and you go and do it every day. If you do that one thing, it will change the way you are to yourself, the word and the integrity that you have with yourself.
So
Like
is that
that
yours?
first
You wake
battle
up
that you
every
win in
day
the
at
morning.
4:30?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the alarm rings, you can either hit the snooze button, go back to sleep, or you just get up. I mean, winning that battle right there, that is the difference between success and mediocrity. You know,
There you have
and
it, Francine. That's his answer for you.
that's my
And
answer.
Lenka wants to know, is 7:30 okay?
Listen, whatever. But if 7:30 is challenging for you, then do that. And you'll see if you go and do that for 3 weeks, 3 months, a year, like how much your life will completely just change.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So where can they find you? So you said so Lenka put the WhatsApp
Yeah.
group. So if you want to join the Course in Miracles on, you said Wednesdays and Sundays, right? And
Yep.
anyone can join at any time, and they can come and go. Do they have to commit every week, or they can come and go when it fits into their schedule?
Yeah, whenever you just come and go. You know, Wednesdays are our deeper studies into the chapters. You know, we study the chapters together. And Sundays is just open conversation.
Okay, so you can find that link to join that group of WhatsApp that Lenka posted in here earlier. I'm sure Alex will go back and post it again just to make sure that you have it. He said you can also hit him up on Facebook, and he would be more private message him. He'd be more than happy to find you there. And what about as far as like if they want some real estate coaching, investment coaching, same thing, Facebook?
Yeah, and in the I mean, I'm doing so much like individual one-on-one work and my investments. I haven't had time to put up some sort of website. You know, it's all in the works. I bought the domains and stuff, but it'll come.
I know,
So
we know
now just
all
find me
about
on
that.
Facebook.
It gets busy, yes, for sure.
And
All
you
right, so
know,
hit them up on Facebook. And do you have
Peru.
an Instagram people can follow you at, or more on Facebook?
Just find me on Facebook. It'd be the easiest. I check that the most.
All right, cool. So hit them up on Facebook. Marlo's saying, so the point of this challenge ourselves is get committed to it and be our word. Hey, mom. She says, thanks, Alex. My mom says, thanks. Francine says, love you, Alex. Awesome job. Can you post here how to reach you? Heard you were going to post here. Great. Okay, she just heard that. So we'll make sure. And we can also put the link to his Facebook page in here too, so that you can all click on that and follow him. And I'm excited, and I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. And it was so fun to be able to catch up with you, even if it was live on Facebook. You're one of my favorite people that I actually adore and trust with my life. And you know, I'm so excited for what you're up to, your new adventure in Peru, everything that you're creating in your life, and you never cease to amaze me. Your commitment to everything that you step into. Like, man, you sure get it about commitment. And so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a yes with everything that you have going on in your life and how busy you are. And you know, anytime you're welcome back. And you know, I'm so glad, and thank you so much for caring about people the way that you do.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor being here. You and Francine are like my mentors, and you guys play a huge part of my transformation. So thank you so much. Honored to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. And for those of you that have been asking, you can catch me on Instagram at the Chris Austin. You can also follow me on my Chris Austin Facebook page, and my business page on Facebook is the Chris Austin. Go ahead and join me on there. And a lot of you have been asking about these trainings that we talk about and the company that I own. We're like Prince, formerly known as AM Trainings. We are now merging with your 10 Life Training Center. We are becoming a 501c3 nonprofit. So you can check us out at your10life.com, the number 10, your10life.com. And hit me up if you have any questions about that or anything. I'd love to talk to you about that, because we are committed to making a difference in the world. And I thank you all for supporting me and watching. And again, the best way that you can support me is share this to your pages and invite your friends and family, and keep watching every Monday night and rewatch the replay. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks,
everybody.
Alex. Bye-bye.